Hi, my name is Megan, and this is Everything Lit. And in this vlog, I'm going to be reading Ninth House, or I should say rereading, because I read this in 2021 and adored it. And I will be reading Hellbent. So this is a full spoiler vlog. I am not there like spoiling everything. I'm talking about specific plot points. I'm talking about specific moments. The hype is real. And so with that being said, spoilers also means trigger warnings. Both of these books are very dark. If you've read Ninth House, you know, but spoiler alert for drug use, for swearing, for assault, for murder, for violence. Like, this book, if it were a movie, would be rated R, if not NC-17. Definitely R. So if you are worried, go look up further trigger warnings. Make sure you're good. We're gonna get into it. Enjoy. Update. I am 150 pages in, and I actually had to stop reading last night at a certain point because this is full spoilers. The scene where we get into Alex's past a little bit, and the scene where we see like her first big trauma when she's like making a new friend because she started a new school, and they go on this field trip and she sees a ghost in the bathroom, a male ghost, and she has just started her period, and he is the first ghost that is able to touch her. Like, full trigger warnings. And he like pulls down her shorts while she's at the sink, and he is interrupted by like the teacher running into the public bathroom and her friend. And like, I had to stop reading before we got to that part because I knew this is a reread, so I knew the bad sad thing was gonna happen. But can we talk about like the girl gets her period equals traumatic event? Because I feel like that is such a large thing in like dark books, horror books, what have it, when whether it is metaphorical or whether it is literal, like she gets her period and then something traumatic happens, or something traumatic happens and it stands in for getting your period. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, can we have a discussion? What are other books where you've seen this? Why is this a trope or a common occurrence? But I am greatly enjoying my reread. I think I mentioned it before, but I listened to this on audio primarily the first time around, and now I'm only reading it physically. I'm not getting the audiobook from the library. And at first I was a little like, oh, maybe this isn't as good as I remember. But the deeper I get into it, the better it is. And some other scenes that happen are like coming back to me as I read, and I'm like, oh yeah, this book is dope. And it's just making me even more excited for Hellbent. I haven't been this excited about a new book release in a long time. So, heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm on page 179, 180. I'm at the scene where Darlington and Alex are at the Halloween party at Manuscript, and he's been drugged and he's like seeing things, and they're leaving. And he says, the stairs seemed to go on forever, turning and turning until Darlington had no idea how long they'd been climbing. He wanted to look back to make sure that Alex was still there, but he'd read enough stories to know you never looked back on your way out of hell. And I feel like that's going to be relevant to the next book, Hellbent. Are we getting some Eurydice and Orpheus vibes? But Alex is Orpheus? I just had to put that update out there. While I'm waiting for a friend, let's talk a little bit more about Ninth House. Why did I like it so much the first time? I think I do like the darkness of it all. I like almost any story with magic integrated into real life. I love magical realism because I like to feel and think that magic can exist in our world. You know, like that gives me hope. And that is a belief that Darlington has in Ninth House. When he is young, he reads a lot of books and he hides away in his room, and that's like his comfort. His comfort is to believe that there is magic in the world. There is more out there than what he has been shown. And while at first Darlington is presented as this like Richie Rich, manners, like the typical Yale boy, his story actually isn't that. And he does have some money, but not as much as you might be led to believe it in the beginning. What he really has is a house, and a house can be both a burden and security. And I think that is one of the reasons that I really do love Darlington, is because I can see myself in him, in his beliefs, and in his desire for magic to be real. Like, this man is willing to drink some elixir that he just made in his kitchen over 2 days to try and see ghosts and find real magic, and almost kills himself to do so. And I feel like that is what makes a good character. Someone who has your beliefs, but goes to the extremes. And that's what we need, because books, I think that's maybe what my writing is missing, is those extremes. Those characters hold beliefs that make them go all the way. They're not afraid like a normal person, you know? Yeah. And then Alex, I just read the portion where she breaks into one of the other secret societies. She makes a deal with the head of the society, and then that girl's gonna go back on the deal, and Alex is like, let me show you my scrappy drug dealer side, and freaking grabs this girl's lip and like puts her in a chokehold. Oh my gosh, absolutely fantastic. We love to see it. I'm so excited. And I read an interview that Leigh Bardugo wanted to name the second book Gentleman Demon. And I'm so glad that that's not the title of the second book. Like, okay, sure, it's like, it's a good line. And of course, like, that's what Darlington is called. But I just don't like that as a title. So I'm so glad she went with Hellbent. Today is Saturday, so we only have 2 more days and then like a work day. I haven't been this excited about a book release probably since 2020, when Stephanie Meyer finally released Midnight Sun. And listen, you know what? I am unapologetically a Stephanie Meyer fan. I think her writing is really good. I think that she can write a good paragraph. I think that there is something propulsive about her stories. And if all you've read from her is Twilight and you think like, blah, read The Host. Read The Chemist. I really love that book. And the ending. Anyway, sidetracked by Stephanie Meyer. We are a fan. We'll read anything that she writes. I'm about 260 pages into Ninth House, so I've got 200-ish left and 2 days to read it. Well, 3 if you count today. Made it to page 304 in Ninth House. First of all, finishing it tomorrow, Monday, is going to be a struggle. Oh my goodness, I forgot how dark this book is. Like, the whole thing with Mercy, Alex's friend, and the Merity, like, making that dude eat shit, like literally shit-eating grin. I remember listening to that and hearing like shit-eating grin, and then he literally eats shit. Oh my god. It's funny, but it's heckin' dark. And then I forgot that Darlington figures out what Alex did at Ground Zero. This book is so fantastic and brilliant, And like the slow revealing of everything is the pacing. You would think that there would be slow parts and then fast parts, and then I don't know, it's just, it continues to get darker and darker, even though it starts out like pretty dark. The first time I read this, I definitely cried when we found out how Helly died and what happened to Len and all her people at Ground Zero. I definitely felt it this time, but I didn't cry. Where is the second book gonna go? Like, I want to know more about Darlington. I want to see his evolution. I want so many things. Oh my gosh, and when she lets the ghost North in, like, there are so many mysteries happening in this book, right? So there, at the very beginning, you have the mystery of what happened at Ground Zero, you have the mystery of what happened to Darlington, and as the different mysteries get answered throughout the book, other mysteries take their place. It's just fantastic. I think that is what I really am enjoying about Ninth House, is it's not one overarching mystery necessarily that the like detective is trying to solve, which there kind of is that with the murder of Tara Hutchins, but it's all these small mysteries, you know? And now that we're halfway through, she just had a fight with the redheaded guy, which may or may not be Lance. So there's the mystery of like, how is he using portal magic? And how are they going to get Darlington back? And just, it's so good. The myriad of mysteries, the questions just keep getting asked, and we get a few answers, but they always lead to more questions, and that's why it's so good. Oh, and the mystery of the bridegroom ghost, or Gray, and what happened to him, and like his murder suicide. Was it real? What? Yeah, just, oh my god, I love this book so much. Interesting how much of Ninth House I have forgotten in a year and a half. Like, I don't reread books that often because there are so many books out there, so many new books I want to explore that I don't really go back. Especially when I was a kid, I reread books all the time, and now I'm like, but no, I need to read new books. So I remember who did it, like who is the main mastermind evil person behind this, but I don't remember how we got to that conclusion and what all this person did. So I'm really in it for the mystery this time and not just the characters. And so it is the night before Hellbent comes out, so I have 100 pages left and I have to finish it tonight. So I will keep you updated, talk to you in probably like 50 pages or so. Okay, interesting thought. I just read the part where Darlington doesn't come back, and then the Blake Keeley busting into Il Bastone and trying to kill Alex for making him eat shit. And I guess I'm wondering what the point of that storyline is. There must be something with Blake. If anything could have been cut out of this to make it shorter, I feel like it was that storyline. As a writer, thinking about balancing plot versus character, and while of course I haven't read the ending, I don't remember if the Blake storyline plays into the main mystery at hand, but the Blake storyline shows that Alex is cutthroat, that she is loyal to her friends and will do anything for them, and she takes matters into her own hands. But could all of those traits have been shown throughout the main mystery without that storyline? I don't know. And then of course in like, well, 2 minutes for you guys, but in like a half an hour I'm gonna get to the end and be like, oh, there was a point to the Blake storyline. It's just, I don't love violence, and this that part at least is very brutal. You know, he stomps his boot down on her, he cracks her head against the floor. I mean, I know that this book is brutal and there are all kinds of trigger warnings, but still, it's a little rough to read at times. And honestly, like, being real here, accidentally, like, fully stepping on one of the cats is one of my greatest fears. Like, Vino likes to flop down on his side, and like, if I put, like, no, just no. So the boot on the chest kind of got to me a little bit. So I'm on page 384 out of 455. I can do math. 80 pages left, and it's like 11 at night. I should be going to bed, but I'm not going to. I'm finishing this tonight, and that way tomorrow at lunch I can go get Hellbent from Barnes & Noble. You know, I think one of the things, like, Alex Stern is such a relatable character in little ways, because obviously, like, she can see ghosts, she's survived murders, she's done murders, like, she's not super relatable in the turns her life has taken, but the sentiment, she's such a fighter, she's so steel-spined. Like, I'm gonna tear up. What really gets me is characters who have endured so much and still have a fight to live. Like, so I'm gonna read a passage. This is Alex thinking back to earlier in the book, and it says, "What do you want?" Bellbaum had asked her. "Safety, comfort, to feel unafraid." "I want to live to grow old," Alex thought as she pulled the curtains closed. "I want to sit on my porch and drink foul-smelling tea and yell at passerby. I want to survive this world that keeps trying to destroy me." Like, it's so powerful. Her desire to live and to make it in life. Genuinely tearing up. Like, hold please. So one time, the greatest compliment I have ever received was one of my friends told me that I had a passion for living. And I love that for multiple reasons. It sounds like something that was said to Jane Eyre, who is one of my favorite characters. And characters who have that passion for living and surviving and making it to old age and, like, taking what they want from life is just, those are my kinds of characters. So Alex, she's got me. She's got my heart. My god, full heckin' spoilers, just in case y'all didn't already know that. But I just got to the twist where, like, Alex is confronting Dean Sandow and being like, "You murdered that girl, you freaking did it, you piece of shit, and I'm recording it." And then Bellbaum comes in and is like, "Shut up and sit down, little boy. I'm about to be the big bad." So cool. And, like, I've already read this. I should know. And I did know about Bellbaum, but I forgot that the dean was involved. Here I was just like, oh yeah, he's not the big bad guy. No, he is the bad guy. They're both the bad guy. It's like 12:15. I just finished Ninth House. Oh my gosh. That ending when she says, "My name is Galaxy." Like, get him, girl. Yes, everything. And, like, it's described so cool, the way the ghosts, like, peel themselves away from Bellbaum. And then it brings in the tarot stuff with the wheel walker, and I can't wait to see how that develops. So if there are wheel walkers, are there other, like, tarot related people? Because they've talked about Darlington being a knight. Interesting world building. And then that last scene, so I read this in 2021, that very last scene where Alex is talking to Dawes and Michelle, and she's like, Darlington's still alive. He's a demon now. It feels, and it's in a graveyard. It feels very end of Captain America the Winter Soldier, which is my favorite Marvel movie, when Steve is talking to Natasha and Sam and being like, Bucky's still out there and I gotta find him. And basically Sam is just like, all right, when do we start? Like, that's how the ending of this feels. Just the start of another adventure, people banding together. I'm so excited for Hellbent. I haven't been this excited for a book in years. I don't know that I was even this excited about Midnight Sun. Like, I was excited, but I don't know if I was this excited. So I'm absolutely gonna go on lunch tomorrow and buy that. I'll take you all with me. Let me gather my thoughts. There are such interesting themes at play in this as well. The idea of power and privilege and rich people, and how there are no consequences for them, and the people who actually suffer are people like Alex and people like Tara, like the poor and the minorities and people who don't have that power and privilege. The way that Bellbaum preyed on young immigrant girls and black girls, like, there's so much about power and privilege in this, and I feel like I would have to read it again to pull out all those threads, because you have Bellbaum obviously preying on young girls who could go missing easily, and people wouldn't search for them. People aren't going to ask a lot of questions. The police would brush it under the rug. But then you also have the Blake Keeley storyline, where he is a man and he gets to take what he wants from women and uses drugs to coerce and force them to do things they don't want to do. And so, speaking earlier about that Blake Keeley storyline, that does play into the theme and the overall power and privilege dynamics, but it did tie in. I forgot about the Dean Sandow thing. So it did tie into the overall mystery, because he was compelled and he had a reason to go after her, but that was only to throw her off the scent. What a fantastic book. I knew that I loved this, but oh my gosh. Like, it's so dark, but the way the plot comes together and Alex's hope, even after all the shit she's been through, I'm so ready for tomorrow. Parking lot is way too poppin' for this, but guess we got Hellbent. Fancy Barnes & Noble edition. Isn't she beautiful? Love her. Okay, so I'm actually on lunch from work. I have to get back, but I have like a half an hour. We're fine. It's like a 15-minute drive. It's fine. So I want to do some predictions before I even start. So let's talk about what we know. We know that Alex wants to go get Darlington. We know that he's some sort of demon. He may be on the other side of the veil. Leigh Bardugo has said that this is like a hell heist. Also, taking into account their names, Virgil and Dante, I think that Alex is going to travel through the 9 circles of hell. Of course, there will probably be twists on what those circles are. And maybe it's not even circles, but like 9 elements, 9 challenges, 9 trials, whatever it is. Because like 9th house, yeah, it's definitely, there are going to be 9 of something. Based off of Leigh Bardugo's other books, 6 of Crows ended on kind of a cliffhanger. So I'm thinking that this is going to end on a cliffhanger because she is rude. I think that Alex and Dawes will not find Darlington until the end of the book. They're going to find him and like reckon with him as a demon by the end of the book. And then the 3rd book will be getting him out. Maybe not. because this was originally going to be like a 10-book series, right? And now she's condensed it down to 3. So this might actually cover a longer span of time than we think. But the last book ended in like spring. So this would be like the summer, well, not semester, but like summertime, right? So many theories. I'm so excited. What else do I think is going to happen? I think we may get another point of view. So we got Alex in the first one, and Darlington, we got his point of view. I wonder if we're going to get Dawes' point of view, or Michelle's point of view, or maybe more Darlington point of view as a demon, or would that give too much away? I don't know. I don't know what Leigh Bardugo would do. Okay, so my final predictions are, it's gonna end on a cliffhanger. There's gonna be 9 circles of hell. What would be the overarching mystery though? If this is like Alex solving crimes, what is gonna be the crime in this book, you know? Is there gonna be another murder? Is Leigh Bardugo going to move away from the mystery format because of Darlington? I don't know. I'm excited. Okay, but what about the rabbit on the cover? So the first one had a snake because Alex is a rattler. She has a rattler inside her, or a rattler. No, a rattler. Anyway, so what is the rabbit? Is this Darlington? A scared little rabbit? An albino rabbit? Is this Dawes? I don't know. All right, someone just got in the car next to me. I gotta go. I started it. I'm 25 pages in, so not very far. And it is following the same pattern as the first one, sort of. We started with the sort of a prologue in November. And something happens, and at the end of that chapter, I literally was like, what is happening? So, exciting, confusing, and then we go back a month to October. So, already one of my predictions that this will take place in the summer is wrong. That makes sense. We're here for the Yale vibes, and the Yale vibes won't be there if it takes place in summer. I think that I just need to devour it. This weekend, I will probably devote more time to it. I am not well. I am not prepared. In the very first chapter, already worried about Cosmo the cat. I don't know how I'll be able to be okay with this book if something happens to that cat. Yeah, I'm putting it out there now. This book will lose a star if that cat gets harmed. Oh my god. I just read, I think it's chapter 7. The moment when they sort of find Darlington. So all of my shit has been wrong. All my predictions about it's not going to be that, they're not going to find Darlington until the end of the book. Oh my god, I'm so wrong and I'm so happy about it. I've never been happier to be wrong. The chapter, so they just did the ritual in Scroll and Key, is that what they're called? And broke the table, big oops. And then the Darlington demon is at, what is it called? Black Elm. And he has horns coming out of his head. He has markings all over his body. He has a gold collar. Hello? His hair is long and he's glowing. His dick is literally described as a glow stick. Hello? What's happening? Sir, I think you need that looked at. But I needed to take a break and be excited because I have no idea where this book is going, but I'm excited about it. Oh my gosh, I just had to film a little clip because I'm reading the chapter where Eaton has just sent Alex to collect 50 grand from this wealthy guy, and she went to tip over a vase, and he grabbed it, and she was like, oh, how did he get there so fast? And he said, I brought that back from China myself in 1936. Are we about to get vampires in? Are we about to get vampires? Is he a vampire? And he has long blonde hair. I'm getting Lestat vibes. I already love this character. I'm here for it. Another update. I am 360 pages in, so I read about 100 pages today. I just made it to part 2, So Below. This part 1 was As Above. So As Above, So Below. I'm on page 367, and we just had a new character talk about the ram who made him do the murders, and Alex thinks it's Darlington's like demon that's trapped at Ilbastone. So maybe the like evil Darlington has like escaped and is killing people. And I think we're about to we're in the same timeline, but I think we're about to catch up with where the book started, with Alex going to Ilbastone and falling down the stairs and there being like dead people down there. And it makes sense with the timing, because in Ninth House it was the same thing with about like 75 pages left. We caught up with where the story started. I am loving the like salt creatures that protect them. Very interesting. I think Trip is really sweet. He dumb, but he's sweet, and I like the different characters and their interactions and how they relate to one another. I'm hoping to finish this tomorrow. It's been a journey, and oh my god, the demons that when the demon came out looking like Helly, I could not. I just could not. It was it's so sad, but like so good. The drama. I know none of this is making sense, and I'm trying to think, like, the themes about power are still there. I'll have to give it some thought. Like, what are the overarching themes in this? Because it's still about power, but now it's also about how you are made to feel, or like the demons that haunt us. And I don't know, gotta think about it more. Gonna put those little gray cells to use. Darlington's back! Oh my god. Okay, this update is literally like 10 minutes after the last one. I read the next chapter, and oh my god. So Anselm, one of the dudes that has been like in power, was actually a demon that Darlington accidentally like came back with them, and I'm shook. This mystery is fantastic. Oh my gosh. And Alex just went into hell by herself because she's the wheel walker and came out with Darlington. Everything. I don't know how there are like 90 pages left in this book, because like what more is gonna happen? Insane. I was like waning in the middle because like it's a fairly long book, and I was just kind of like, ugh, when are things gonna happen? Things are happening. I'm so tempted to finish this tonight, but it's already like midnight and I have work tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna be upsetty spaghetti tomorrow morning. But right now I'm in it. I'm not gonna finish the book, but I might read one more chapter. I finished it. I did it. It's like 11:30 at night, and it's taken me almost 2 weeks, but I did it, and I kind of don't know how I feel about the ending. I think I'm gonna have to think about it. I'll give my final thoughts in another clip, We definitely have a lead into book 3, and we kind of know who the big villain of book 3 is going to be. It's going to be the vampire. I'm very excited. And like, if you've made it this far, you know it's all spoilers. Trip isn't like dead. He's a vampire dead, which I think is super I think it's super cute. But I do like that he didn't actually die, and now they have a vampire on their side. The second descent into hell, we know more about the cover now and why there is a rabbit. I think I am actually a little conflicted about the ending. I think maybe it went on too long, but we needed that lead into book 3. So, I don't know. I feel like this may have been just like a smidge too long for my true enjoyment, for my optimal reading experience, you know? But I'll give full thoughts later because I need to go to bed. But I'm conflicted about the ending. I don't know if I'm gonna give this 5 stars. Guess we'll find out. All right, it's been a couple days since I finished Hellbent, and I wanted to wrap up my thoughts. Apologies if you can hear Vino being a crazy man. His favorite toy is out right now. I usually put it away, but he was crying. So if you hear him, he is living his best life. So I kind of put off this final update on Hellbent because I think I was a little disappointed. The hype was so great. Like, how could it possibly live up to the first book? I still really liked it. I still think it's a really good series. I just feel like some things got lost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the things that didn't really work for me in this, and then I'll talk about the things that did work for me and my overall like thoughts and feelings. So what didn't work for me? I feel like Yale got lost in the mix. The first one is very much like she is in school and she has certain like obligations. This Yale was kind of the background, and even though New Haven and the university did have the history of the university had a lot of impact on the mystery, I don't know, it lost something for me. I feel like the first book was trying to build New Haven and Yale as another character, and I feel like Hellbent dropped that thread. Hellbent didn't care about building New Haven because we already knew about it. I feel like, and I would have to read it a second time, but I feel like the pacing was less tight. In the first book, it's like mystery after mystery after mystery, and as we get answers, we get more questions. This felt almost too much like it was honed in on one mystery, and the threads between the different plot lines were not as tight as I wanted them to be, right? So we have the overarching plot of getting Darlington out of hell, but then we also have this demon in Black Elm that is part of Darlington, but then we also have like Anselm, and there was just a lot of different parts, and I feel like they didn't as tightly link up as I had wished. I also think the ending was, here's the thing. I want to be so excited about Galaxy Stern, Demon Hunter, and her faithful like pet Darlington. I want to be excited about it. I so badly. But the further it gets away from normal and the further it gets away from our world into the magical world, I think the less I enjoy it. And that is something that this book does. Like, if we're descending into hell in this book, we're getting further and further away from the normal life that maybe Alex would like. And on the one hand, like, I just want her to have that normal life that she wants. And two, part of the joy for me for a series like this is seeing how the normal can be turned up a little. Like, the magic is there, but it's intertwined with reality. In this, the two get more separate, and I think that impacted my enjoyment. And the ending really stuck that for me. So, a little disappointed. I still really liked it. I am still going to give it a good rating. But like, it just, how could it possibly live up to the hype? It just couldn't. I was too excited. So, here's what I did like. I did like getting to know all the characters a little more, getting to know Turner, getting to know Dawes, getting to know Trip. I think Trip was kind of a hidden gem. I did like the end part where, spoilers, I did like the end part where Trip becomes a vampire and they still take him into their safety and their protection. I liked that part. I did like the actual parts that take place in hell were really interesting and creepy, and I liked the themes in this. So let's talk about some of the themes. I talked about this in Ninth House, but so the themes in Ninth House, I have it right here. The themes in Ninth House are like, who has power, who deserves power, what does power mean? And I feel like Hellbent is a little bit of a twist on that. And it's really about feeling powerless and what makes people feel powerless and how other people keep their power. But this also has a theme of like being haunted and your personal demons and how, you know, we all have demons, and this like literally embodiments of the main character's demons come out of hell. And I think that's what the third book is going to be about, like hunting demons. So I thought the themes were really interesting, and I feel like whenever we get book 3, which could be like 2025, I will probably reread Hellbent at least, if not both of them, because I do really like the series, and I think a second read would benefit me on like solidifying my thoughts and what worked in this and maybe what didn't. The last thing I'll say about the plot is I feel like it went on a little long. I feel like I got lost in the middle bit, not in a confused way, but in a can we move it along way. In the end, I'm still going to give this 5 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was compelling. I thought the mystery was good. The reveals at the end, like, those were good. Those got me. I devoured the last 150 pages. So it definitely picks up, but I feel like the beginning was a bit slow. And I think that might be a middle book issue, because like I already know the characters, you don't have to set them up. And in Ninth House, I didn't know the characters. So like that's what's compelling. I will say, let's talk about Mercy. I haven't really talked about Mercy. I liked that she was like the normal one brought into this, and at the end she kind of pulls away a little bit. You know, it makes sense. But also I want her to be in the next one and be a big part of Ninth House. I don't think this suffers from middle book syndrome. It is its own good story. It doesn't feel like just a bridge to the next book, but at the same time, it kind of does, because the ending leaves it so open as to where Leigh Bardugo could go in the third book. I also wonder if I had listened to it on audio for the first time, for the first read through, would that have made it better? Would I have been more hype? I don't know. So those are my final thoughts on Hellbent. I think it was great, but it couldn't possibly live up to the hype, and it didn't. That is my vlog, rereading at Ninth House and then reading Hellbent. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Let me know what you thought if you've read these. If you haven't, well, now you're spoiled, but I think it's still worth it. So thank you for watching. Hi, you want to say thanks? He says thanks. Okay. What? Sir. What? Yeah, we'll play in a second. If you like this video, you can like it. You can subscribe to me. See what else I read this year. You can do whatever you want, though. I'll see you next time.